Okay, I'd like to do a short video on my table saw fence enhancements. This all started because I decided to replace my table fence, the stock table fence that came with the grizzly saw. I originally had a shop fox fence that came with the grizzly saw, and I wasn't too happy with it because it wasn't a Biesemeyer, and at the same time, because it wasn't, I couldn't move the outfeed table as close to the table saw as I wanted. There was about a 6-inch clamp here, a 6-inch back piece that clamped onto the rail, and about the closest I could get the outfeed table was about 6 inches. So I went to Grizzly and I bought the Shop Fox Biesemeyer fence. I think that's how you say it. And I'm pretty happy with it. I installed it on the Grizzly. I happen to have a Grizzly, an older Grizzly saw, a G1023Z 10-inch table saw. And after I put the fence in, I wanted to make some fixtures and jigs for use with the table saw. So first thing I did was I made a sacrificial fence like this, and using these rocklet clamps, and they just plug into holes in the fence. You've probably seen these. And you put them down there and you're good to go. You can move the fence around, and it's a sacrificial fence. The next thing I wanted to do was make a fence covering, I don't know what you'd call it, an auxiliary fence that I can put more tools on and fixtures without using actual tools, using the hand. So I came up with this. I saw something similar to this on the web and on YouTube, and I modified it a little bit. And all it is made out of plywood. And first of all, what I did was I made a piece of plywood this width and this long, and then I put another piece on top of it, like you see here, which has got to be wider, out to the outer edges of this fence. And then I slapped on two pieces of plywood on the ends and snugged them up against this fence while I glued it. And I glued it and screwed it about every 6 inches. Then I routed I didn't actually route, I used a dado blade to make a 3/4 inch slot here for the T-slot. And then I have some T-nuts in here. So the way this works, oh, and by the way, I put on the end, you can see I put a plate here to keep it from moving forward. But as you'll see, it's not going anywhere, it's pretty tight. So here's the inner piece of plywood, here's the outer piece of plywood that holds these two sides in. And by the way, I didn't spend a lot of money on birch plywood. I got a deal on plywood at Home Depot. They had some plywood, 4x8 sheets of plywood, very cheaply, both sides good, and it was 6 or 7 ply. So that was good enough for me. It's much less expensive. So you push that down like that, and you can see it's a pretty tight fit. It's a 1/16 of an inch off the surface of the table. And now what you can do with this is several things. I made a hole down out of I used poplar for all of these fixtures. Relatively cheap, and it's a hardwood. And what you can do there is make a hole down and just slide your hole downs in here, the feather boards, to hold the material down. I usually use 2 of them. So I made that fixture. Then I made another fixture if I wanted to have a wider board or something more stable. I made this. I haven't cut a slot in it yet for the table saw, for the saw blade, but that's ready to go. Then I made an auxiliary piece of plywood in case I wanted to make something I didn't know what I needed yet. I made one of these. Of course, all of these you can slide up and down the rail pretty good. And I had a high fence, which I had for my old saw, and I had to modify it to make it work on this because the distances from the saw to the top are the same. So this is a high fence, and basically it's 3/4 inch dado groove with a piece of solid wood there. Put that in here, and you can fasten that, and that snugs down and tightens right down. And then I have another T-slot in here for hold down, And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a miter slot in here, this, just like that. So I can then use a miter gauge, or a miter slide gauge like this, to hold the high work and have some support in the back and run it along there. So that's kind of it. That's what I did. I think it's going to be very versatile. I don't need any tools to move any of these things around or take these things out. And they're all pretty solid. So that's it. If you like this video, please subscribe. And I'll see you soon on YouTube.